Hello everyone, and thank you for watching my video. This is Celtic Reiki, and I am going to be doing it for the sacral chakra. I'm level 1 attuned, which means I'm able to practice on you all, but I am not able to accept clients for money. So please consent to this healing before beginning. The sacral chakra is in charge of things like it's the lower abdomen. It's under the belly button, and it represents things like intimacy, romance, pleasure, sensuality, sexuality. It's an intuitive center. It's also about creativity and inspiration and just your hobbies and the things that you find pleasure and joy in. It's a really fun one. So I'm going to be working with that today, and I'm going to be working with 3 different Reiki symbols today, actually, for that. So if you would, please, if you would like, close your eyes, and we're just going to do a little sound healing with the bowl. Also, do a little smoke cleanse with some yerba santa. Be using this Lemurian quartz to do some cleansing, just pulling out anything that is stagnant, stuck, anything toxic. The sacral chakra I find to be one of the more delicate and tricky chakras to deal with, cleansing and activating, or also what's the word I'm looking for? Calming down is all I can come up with, whatever the opposite of activating is. Any stuck energy that we get in this area has the potential to be things that can be painful to deal with and triggering to deal with. Different traumas, memories. I know the third eye is known to be for intuition, and that is part of it, but the sacral also has an intuitive component. You know, when they say you have a gut feeling, and that's really about where the sacral is located. And because it has to do with our pleasure and creativity, if you're experiencing any kind of creative block, or maybe you've received some not so lovely feedback on anything you've been working on creatively, it can block and hurt our sacral chakra can make it close off. And then, of course, with it being a center for our sexuality and sexual experiences, when we've undergone hard or upsetting things in that area of our life, there can be a lot going on here. And it's important to be very gentle and patient with yourself, to acknowledge that it's okay to have stuck and hurt feelings and traumas, but also to work towards healing and cleansing. Hanging it onto it in your body is only harming you. So while the process can be slow, it can require a lot of patience and gentleness, it's also a process that is important to go through when you're feeling ready. But we want to be soft and gentle. On a flip side of that, perhaps you're going through a period where things aren't happening as much in those areas of your life as you'd like, whether that be getting pleasure from sexual experiences or pleasure from hobbies or just the things that you do for fun. Maybe you're working too much, or you haven't been able to be as creative as you'd like to be. You've got this really great idea that's just sitting on the back burner because you're prioritizing all these things that aren't fun. Let's get this center activated, this chakra. Let's get it unblocked and cleansed and activated and ready to go do those things in life that are enjoyable. Or another option is you are someone who is having too much fun. There is such a thing. You're not doing the things you're responsible for. You're ignoring your responsibilities. And all you're doing is the fun, pleasurable stuff. And the pleasurable stuff is starting to become harmful. It's not in healthy balance. Or you are just taking on more sexual partners than you'd like and not really having a sense of safety and intimacy with them. This chakra is about intimacy as well, and romance. So let's get a healthy balance of all of these things. Not too much, not too little. But just gentle. Orange is the color associated with this chakra, and I forget what this crystal is called. It's got a really cool eye on the back. So if any of you crystal experts watching this know the name of this crystal I have forgotten, please let me know in the comments. But when I choose crystals for these sessions, I pick ones that intuitively call out to me. So I don't necessarily need to know exactly what it is. I know that it's calling to me and wants to be used for this session. And I'm especially drawn to the colors, as you might have noticed from my videos. The color that corresponds with the chakra I'm working on is a color of crystals I like to use. And I like to coordinate me what I'm wearing. It's a deep dark orange jumpsuit and a peachy orange kimono. And some orangey lipstick. Gold jewelry. I'm just extra like that. This just feels very gentle and soothing and feminine. I really just am feeling very called to have this be a very gentle session. I don't typically use the round spherical crystals on these videos because I personally enjoy the feeling of the wands, but something about the sacral gives me a very feminine, soft, gentle, rounded quality. So I was really drawn to this for that reason, in addition to it being this beautiful peach color. It was calling out to me, and I kept saying, no, you're round, it's harder to work with when I do these. And it was like, I don't care, use me anyway. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And now that I am, I'm glad. It really feels like the right tool to be using. Reiki symbols, and you'll have to Celtic Reiki, and you'll have to excuse me because I don't always remember how to pronounce them, so I'm going to look at my little book for the pronunciation. So I believe this is pronounced Salya, and it is the willow tree, and it is all about balance and intuition, being closely connected with the phases of the moon, perfect timing, romantic feelings, flow of the water and the tides. It's very feminine. Say there's maybe some very feminine qualities to this one. And I thought that those characteristics went well for this chakra. And it's Salya, the willow. Get some of the energy from the stones of my rings pushed into it as well. Salya. Imagine being under a beautiful willow tree. Willows are some of my favorite trees. In fact, when I first started learning Celtic Reiki from my teacher, who is also on YouTube, Sarah Louise Tilsley. So yeah, in our first session, and she was doing a guided meditation where she had me imagine, like, see what tree first came to mind. It was the willow tree. I imagined a willow tree that I saw in my grandparents' backyard. My mom swears there wasn't a willow tree in their backyard, but for some reason, in my mind, there was a willow tree in my grandparents' backyard that I loved to sit under. I just love the swaying branches and leaves that hang down, cascading down around you. They usually grow around water, I believe. And so imagine you're just sitting next to this like beautiful pond or lake or something, and it's crystal clear, calm, peaceful, no one else is there. Or someone you really love is there if you want company. And you're on this really soft quilt that's laying on the ground under this big, beautiful willow tree, and all the branches and leaves are hanging down around you, and you can see and hear the water just outside of it. There's a gentle breeze. So beautiful. Salya. Again, this is for balance and intuition. Being closely connected with the phases of the moon. Romantic feelings. Just very feminine nature. Next, I'm going to be using this one. I believe it's pronounced or. It's the spindle tree. It's for abundance, creativity, honoring family and loved ones and community. It's really about creative potential and creative abundance. And with this being a center for creativity and being inspired to be creative, I wanted to include this one for that reason. Or the spindle tree. These little sticks that I have are Ogham staves. Ogham is spelled O-G-H-A-M, pronounced Ogham. And I ordered them on Etsy from a lady in England who puts the symbol on the corresponding tree. So each of the Celtic Reiki symbols correspond with a letter of the Ogham alphabet. These are characters from the Ogham alphabet from centuries ago, ancient druids, Celtic. And one corresponds with a different tree. And then the healing properties of those trees are part of that symbol, whatever corresponding tree. And the lady that made these, that I ordered them from, sources wood from each of those trees. Each stick is different, and it goes with the corresponding tree for the symbol that's on it. Let's get that creative energy in balance, activated, ready to go. And then the last of the three I'm going to be using today. And this is interesting because if you've been watching any of my other chakra cleansing videos, you'll see that I usually use just one symbol, sometimes two, but I was really called to use three today because, and again, I'm new at this, so potentially I could be wrong about this, but I couldn't find any symbols that I thought represented everything that has to do with the sacral chakra, so that's why I'm using three different ones. Okay, this one is pronounced Un. The corresponding tree is the gorse. And this one is about spiritual paths, lust, arousal, spiritual guidance and movement. And it represents the health and vitality of intimacy and sexuality. So I think it's very clear why I've chosen that one. As you can see, this is a different type of wood than the last one. This is from the gorse. And it's Un. I'm gonna press this into the upper as well as the middle and lower dantians. Mostly I've just only focused on the lower dantian and where the sacral chakra is in this healing, but for this I'm wanting to create the current, create the alignment and the flow with your whole body. Because if you've heard that saying about getting in your head, sometimes when you just need to be creative, or you just need to go with your gut, or you just need to get out of your own way and let your intuition and your creativity and your sexuality just call the shots. We need to get out of our head and just go with the gut. Like I said earlier, sometimes there's people who that's all they do. And so we need to kind of balance and tame that energy a little bit. Going to finish up by sealing it all in, kind of brushing it, sealing this energy in. Typically what I like to do is I like to start out with some grounding, which is what I did with the singing bowl. And then I like to work on cleansing, which is what I did with the Lemurian quartz. Then I like to kind of push some loving energy into the space that I've just cleared with the cleansing. Then I like to put the Reiki symbols in, again, filling that space that we've just cleansed and cleared of all the toxic, negative, stagnant, hurtful energy. And since we've just cleared all that space, we don't want to just clear it just so more of that cruddy energy can get back in there. So I like to fill it in with the loving energy and the Reiki symbols. Then I like to seal it up, keep it protected. Keep all that cleansing we just did and all that good healing energy we just put in within you. So you can't drain it, it can't be taken, and you can't get filled back up with the crud. Now, of course, over time, that is going to happen. We're human. It happens to all of us. But then you just come back to this video and we do it all over again. Okay, that feels good. I'm just gonna do a sweep all around the body. Because when we work on one chakra, they are all connected, and so I am typically kind of working on all of them and just concentrating on the one area. So we're gonna get it all sealed in here. Sealed in up top and at the heart center. At the lower base, lower dantian. Get it all sealed in. Okay. I'm going to end on my little sacral singing bowl one more time. Alright, you guys, that felt really nice, and I hope you enjoyed yourselves today and feel much better now that we've worked on your sacral chakra. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day